In this video, I'm going to cover how to set up SketchUp so that we'll all be using the same environment in the class. I'm assuming you've already downloaded SketchUp 2016 and have installed it on your system. First, I'm going to set up some toolbars. So I'll go up to View, Toolbars, and I'm going to turn off the Getting Started toolbar, turn on the Large tool set, and then scroll down to Section and turn that on, and also Views. Next, I'll show you how to set up the dialog box windows in SketchUp. There's a new feature in SketchUp 2016 called Trays, which really improves how the windows are configured on your screen. So I'll go to the Window menu and then go to Default Tray. And actually, no, I'll go to Manage Trays. Click on the default tray and make sure that these first 6 items are all checked. Each one is an individual dialog box window. And if any of these down here are checked, you can turn those off for now. So I'll go back to Window, Default Tray, Show Tray, and then you can see that you can open up any of these dialog boxes kind of accordion style on the right hand side of your screen. Now if you end up moving this tray around, the easiest way to get it configured in one side of your screen or the other is to drag it until you see this little right arrow, for instance, and then let it go, and it will automatically snap to that side of the screen. Same thing on this side if you prefer it to be on the left side of the screen. I'm going to put it back here on the right side. Next, I'm going to show you how to set up a template. I've created a SketchUp template that we'll use in the class, and this is basically just a blank SketchUp file, but it contains scenes, styles, and layers that we'll be using during modeling. So I've already downloaded the file tftemplate.skp from the Google Drive folder that I shared with you, and I've put it in my system put it in your system so you know where it is. I put mine in the Downloads folder. So I'm going to go to Window, Preferences, and then select Template, and then Browse, and I'll go to my Downloads folder and select TF Template and Open, and click on OK. Now if you won't see any change immediately, but if you go to the File menu and select New, you'll see a bunch of tabs across the front. These are called Scenes. And if you go to your Layers panel over here in your default tray, you'll see a bunch of layers that are already set up. And you should also see 5 different styles in your Styles window. The next thing to set up are keyboard shortcuts. And I've created a file of the keyboard shortcuts that I use frequently. And shortcuts will allow you to model much faster and easier than clicking on tools on the toolbar. So I've downloaded tfshortcuts.dat from the Google folder, and I've put it in my Downloads folder. So I'll show you how to load that. I'm going to go to Window, Preferences, and then click on Shortcuts, Import. I will browse back to my Downloads folder, and there's tfshortcuts.dat. I'll click on Import and then OK. So to confirm that you've got the keyboard shortcuts downloaded and installed properly, just press W and you should see the default tray hide itself. W for Window. Press it again, the default tray should come up. That's not a standard keyboard shortcut, so if you've downloaded the file properly, you should be able to press W to hide and show the tray. Next, I'd like to show you a couple of models that I put in the shared folder. So I'm going to go to File, Open. I'm going to browse to my Downloads folder and double click on Cooper Barn. So when the file opens up, you will see a complete timber frame model that you can navigate, zoom in and zoom out of. And you'll also see a bunch of tabs across the top, Working, VL, All Timbers, VL standing for Visual Layers. VL no rafters is a quick way to hide all of your rafters. If you click on the bents scene, you'll see only the bents in the frame. Same with the walls tab. And then there are a number of PS scenes, which are presentation scenes, which are set up for printing shop drawings. You'll see nothing but black and white in these drawings, but they are isolated so that you can see the individual bents, individual walls. But for working on the model, we'll be mostly in this working tab. And there's one last tab here, which is a utility scene that will show you if you've screwed up in any of the timbers you make, because they show red, green, and blue axis alignment, which you should see on all of these timbers except for anything that's on an angle, rafters, and braces. So go ahead and do some exploration on this model, especially in the layers panel. You can see that you can turn on and off individual layers. So I'm going to turn off all of these TF layers, which are timber frame layers, except for the posts. And you can see all the posts in the model. You can zoom in and see all the joinery is already in place. You can do that on any of these individual layers. And we'll get into, how to do all this joinery and how to assign it to layers and how to organize your model. But do a little bit of experimentation here, and I think we'll be in better shape for the class. We've already covered the scenes. There's one other model that's in the shared folder, and I'm going to open that up. And that is called Square Rule. So I'm not going to save my changes to that file. And there's a variety of tabs here. I'm going to go to Assembled. And then if I click on X-ray, you can kind of see this in X-ray mode. If I go to Exploded, you'll see the joinery here. So I've recorded a short video that's in your shared folder, or there's a reference to it in the email at least, a link to it. And this is the file that I'm using to explain square method joinery. So you'll have that you can pull up on the screen to follow along with the video. One last thing to do regarding setting up SketchUp. We're going to use a plug-in, a free extension to SketchUp to cut mortises. So basically we'll be able to create tenons through push-pull joinery in SketchUp, and then we'll intersect timbers together and they'll automatically create mortises. This is using the solid tools in SketchUp, but there is a fairly significant bug that someone in the SketchUp community has written an extension to fix the bug. So I'd like you to download that. So if you go to Window, Extension Warehouse, and then you're going to have to search for Enteroth. Did I spell that right? Enteroth Solid Tools. Oh, it's actually Eneroth. I'm sorry. E-N-E-R-O-T-H, Solid Tools. And click on that link. And then I've actually got it installed on my system already, but you will see an install button here. Just click on that and that will download it and configure it in SketchUp automatically for you. And then we can go to the View menu, Toolbars, and then if you did everything properly, you will see an Eneroth Solid Tools, and I'm going to click on that. And now these three tools popped up on the toolbar. The one we're going to use is called the Trim tool. So that covers everything you need to do to set up SketchUp, and if you have any questions regarding this, please feel free to contact me.